Hey now, it's Sharon and I'm back to share another idea on how to better policing here in the US. Some people say abolish. I don't think we can abolish it, but if we do, we're gonna have to replace it with individuals. So I'm here sharing my experiences along with my opinions on how we can better it on an individual basis for the officer, the new officer coming in, or the career officer. So I'm sharing opinions, ideas, thoughts on how we can better the policing. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. And with that being said, I just want to start off, because I'm not going to take it long. Thank you for all the suggestions and advice on how to appeal my VA disability application. There were a lot of great suggestions, things I didn't even think of, but I'm very appreciative. I've written everything down, so now it's time to do what I gotta do. But thank you. So I want to talk about, a lot of people said or are saying they don't feel safe. And I got to thinking, I was like, do I feel safe here in the US? And I have to say yes and no, if I let things get to me. Like, think about this. The last month or so, TikTok was banned and then came back on. I equate that to almost like America's body camera. Switched it off and on, and now things are different. There's something up, but we just can't tell what it is because we don't have the whole picture. Yeah, I feel like TikTok is America's body camera. And then we turned it off and turned it back on. Usually there's some shadiness going on. Okay, what about the government freeze? It was frozen for a couple of days. Well, things are still frozen. But then the backlash, the things that people are being affected, and they're coming across social media and letting you know they can't eat, they can't do certain things. Okay, as a retired police officer, to see those January 6th people get released, I'm like, I'm not gonna curse, but I wanna curse. What's the whole idea of policing? To get the bad guy, bring them before a judge, go through the process, go to jail. And they were just released. But I'm not surprised. But they were just released. After fighting, you might as well say killing involuntarily, the officer that died, the other officers that were injured, some of them severely. And you release people? They came with brass knuckles, bear spray, flagpoles, disguised flagpoles, really had impaling objects on them and things like that. And I even heard one lady say people brought guns to fight the police. And they did that. And they were arrested. They were adjudicated. They were convicted. They were put in prison. And now the commander-in-chief releases them? Okay. I'm rubbing my head because, oh my goodness. And I wrote something else down. The plane crashes. That's one of the safest, if not the safest mode of transportation. And we're seeing things happen like this. People want to they want to blame DEI. And I will say this, DEI, affirmative action, government programs, it's just another word for the N word. That's what it boils down to. Because they said Black people benefit from it, then something's wrong with it. But the truth is, if you do the research, just look it up. Go to the Department of Labor. They'll tell you the statistics on DEI and who benefits the most. It's white folks, white females to be exact. But since they put DEI as a dog whistle for the N-word, affirmative action as a dog whistle for the N-word, they used your hate, your implicit bias to get these things changed. Because basically you shot yourself in the foot by voting against DEI, by voting against affirmative action. Black folks didn't benefit like you thought we did. We're at the bottom of the beneficial ladder. Look it up for yourself. But anyway, going back to policing, because some people said they felt afraid. And then I thought to myself, I'm not afraid only because of who I believe in and what I believe in. I believe in Jesus Christ. They call him Jesus, Yeshua. I believe in him. I believe in Elohim. I believe in Jehovah Jireh. I believe in Jehovah Rapha. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. 1,000 may fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come near me. I believe that. And I know that. But for the folks that are afraid, I understand. I totally get it. Here's another thing that I talked about these past coming days. Officers, for you who voted for the president, you voted for this man to basically let out January 6th people that fought our brother officers in DC, brothers and sisters in DC. You are okay with that. You have to be. You have to be. You have to be. That's a whole nother video. But I wanted you to think about this, any officer for that matter. When people are anxious or scared, when you stop them, they're afraid of the uniform. They don't know you. They don't know you from Tom, Dick, or Harry, Sharon. They don't know you. They know the uniform, though. They know what the uniform stands for them. So stop getting in this ego, puffed up ego, most of the time testosterone driven, because it's mainly men, back and forth with people. You don't understand why they're afraid. Maybe that's the problem. You don't understand. Maybe realizing that the uniform means something different for different people. Maybe you need to understand those meanings of what their uniform stands for. Maybe you, as an officer, need to take a step back and do some reevaluation on why are people upset when they see me in the uniform? I'm out here trying to get the bad guy and do the right thing. Ask yourself that question. Why do they see you that way? Why do they react the way they do to the uniform? I think that'll help officers coming in, the new ones and the career officers sitting there, do that, because I'm sure if you ask yourself that question, then you have to turn around and ask yourself the question, am I that way with my family? Do I walk into a room and everybody's like, okay, here he comes, here she comes, I can't even, and they roll their eyes. Excuse me. You may be that for your family too. Something to think about, right? Oh my goodness. But yeah, as an officer, I had to do that. I realized that people are not upset at Sharon. They're upset at their uniform and what it means to them. And yes, I took a step back and had to do some self-evaluations outside of the regular, the little superficial stuff you do. Oh, I'm going to get the bad guy and I'm doing this to help people. The deeper dive is to figure out, when I walk into a room, am I causing, or as they say, we'll use a training term, am I de-escalating or escalating the situation when I walk in? Those are things you need to ask yourself. And so I put it in a book. I wrote a book. It's called, you can see it, My Middle Eastern Conflict, Looking Back at My Future. And look at the whole cover. Look at where the heart is. That'll give you an idea as to this journey that I took to figure out what was going on with me, to identify who I was to myself and to my family and to the community. And the one thing it helped me realize in writing this book and putting everything, just about everything in it, is the fact that morality, my morality, and my faith never cross paths. Now that's a problem. They never cross paths until I had to take that deep dive into my heart and figure out, why did I have certain biases and prejudices and things like that? Because I talk about it. My issue with white men and white Jesus. I talk about it in here. They never crossed paths. But when they started to cross paths, that's when I realized, okay, let me take a step back on how I look at the community, how I interact with the community, how I interact with my family, my identity, and finding out who I was and who I am. So the past Sharon informed the present Sharon. But morality and faith as a police officer, when you talk to officers, they never cross until something like whistleblowing, until you get in trouble, until you have to either remain silent or tell the truth. So I think the book will help some folks if they take a look at it. An honest read from cover to cover. It'll help you understand how your morality and your faith cross as a police officer and why they should. The book is available on lulu.com under the Religion and Spirituality tab. It's also available on Amazon. And I'll leave it at that. Morality and faith, they shouldn't run parallel. Even while policing, they shouldn't run parallel to one another. They have to cross. All right? I'll leave it at that. Take a look at the online store. The link is in the description. The book links will be in the description. And like, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate the comments just to see what people are thinking. But do you feel safe? I feel safe. But like I said, but God and my identity and knowing who I am. Some of us don't know who we are. Some of us are very fearful, especially in the policing community. I'll leave it at that. As is our tradition, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.